All right, time for a little fantasy football. Our guy Dean Essie is back. Dave, I have some bad news for you. The Bears are back in first place.
That's not the bad news I was thinking about, but that's only going to last for a week anyway. So, but the bad news is the Micah Parsons injury, torn ACL, out for the year. Our defensive stud is gone.
You know, I don't take pride in that kind of crap. I feel for Micah Parsons and stuff, and I'd rather have teams at full strength, including the Bears. You know, the Bears have lost a few guys to injury themselves this year and suspended on and all. Kyler Gordon's done for the year now. It's just the way the NFL is, man. It's a landscape, but you know, a guy as impactful as Micah Parsons, as fun as what he was to watch. I mean, you're watching the Packers defense, you watch him every play, your eyes go on him first, right? I mean, that's just how he was. He was just that good, and he'll be back. You know, I'm thinking he probably missed his training camp, maybe preseason. I think chance to start the year, maybe after week 4, but he'll be back when it's important. You know, when it comes to impact players, Dave, I'm starting to build the philosophy even more and more. Is like, why rush him back? I mean, if you can make a playoff run without him and then bring him on at the end, it's even more important, and he'll be fresh.
Yeah, even for that stretch run, like mid-season and end of season, that's when you really need him. You don't need him at the beginning of the year, like you said. You can right the ship for a couple weeks at the beginning of the year. If that's what you do, you get them healthy.
Absolutely. And speaking of injuries, Dave, it was a freaking Armageddon again this week. Obviously, the star of the NFL, the poster boy, Pat Mahomes, tore his ACL 5 minutes before Micah Parsons did. I was watching it on Red Zone, and I was like, I can't believe this. I said that didn't look. At first, I thought it was Achilles for him, but now it was ACL. And you can walk from ACLs, so you know that's the thing. And you know, both of them really walked off the field. It was a limp still, but you can tell by their face and the way their knee bent and the way it looked that there was some sort of damage there, and both happened to be
ACLs. And you know, and the non-contact injuries like that too for both of them. Actually, Mahomes really didn't get hit. That really, it was like after he got hit, he kind of like pushed on his leg and then it like crumbled. Like the non-contact injuries are the worst because you know something's bad if they as soon as their knee buckles and you hear it pop or you see it right. Knee buckle like that.
Oh, this is when it's a non-contact, it does worry you more. It worries you more than a guy getting freaking targeted and smashed, right? It's like a non-contact injury, you know it's bad. It's like, God dang. It's so weird how NFL's like that. What a boring game. Looks like the Steelers just scored another touchdown, though. Up 14-3. Yeah, this game started out slow. Here's another injury, Romo Dunze, and I was really mad because our dynasty league, Dave, I thought that I might lose now because I had him in, and that was a late scratch. The news came out after the game started, which means it happened in warmups, but you got to get that news out there, Bears. You know, that sucked, and I was very bummed. But it looks like I'm going to win anyway. He needs like 40 points from Malik Washington, so. Thank God I got through that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Should we get into the injuries then? The long list.
Yeah, Bam Knight. I mean, Bam Knight for the Cardinals hurt his ankle, was ruled out, and he's probably done too. You know, and Cardinals are so shot. Luther Burton from the Bears had an ankle injury too. We don't know if he's going to come back. We don't know if Rome's going to come back, but they need a couple key guys for the Packers. And then you want to talk about Christian Watson. He hurts his chest. I thought it was his shoulder that snapped at first, Dave. But it looks like it was his chest.
Yeah, there was something about rib during the game too. So I'm not really. It's still not clear on really what's wrong with him. Actually, I think it might be a rib or a lung, maybe. So that's kind of scary though, because like T.J. Watt had the lung thing, and he had to get his collapsed lung fixed. So that's scary. So hopefully it's nothing major. Hopefully he'll be able to be back in a couple weeks. But yeah, it did not look good.
Watts was done based on a procedure, though, and this was just a hit to the ground. So I doubt you collapse a lung like that, but crazier things have happened. Woody Marks hurt his ankle. I guess he can probably play next week, but he did hurt his ankle, so monitor that all week. Tyler Lockett hurt his wrist. Not that his team was doing anything. Man, it's so funny. The Raiders are so bad, Dave. I don't even know if I have to go over their injuries. This is the worst Raiders team I've ever seen in my life.
We covered the buys when we did that, when they had the buy. Even there was not many players that you're starting.
Here's another weird one. Devin Neal came out with a hammy, and they still won that game with the crazy baiting the refs and all that. But it was a big hit to Neil. He was having a pretty good game against the Panthers when he went out, so he was kind of a sleeperish player last week. Van Jefferson hurt his back against the Niners. That was a hell of a catch he hurt his back on, though. Noah Brown hurt his ribs and left the game against the Giants. Ricky Pearsall had a knee injury. Dave, what else am I missing?
Looks like RJ Harvey with the ribs, Javonte Williams with a shoulder injury. We got Bam Knight, but Basal Tootin, finger injury. He's actually had surgery. He'll be out a couple weeks. So ETN's even going to be more important going forward after his huge week this last week. So Samarji Perine, ankle injury. Devontae Adams, hamstring injury. He may not play this week. So that's huge, especially in the fantasy playoffs. So Devontae Adams is not likely to play this week probably. They say he's week to week.
Forgot about him. Thank you. Forgot about him. That's a big one.
So that's a major one. Dunze, like you said, Burden with the ankle, Ricky Purcell, Xavier Worthy with concussion, Devon Valley, who was actually having last couple weeks, is doing pretty well. And then Noah Brown, like you said, with the ribs, and Noah Fant with the ankle.
Yep. Noah Fant with the ankle. Yep. Just a lot of problems this week and some nasty ones. Well, Dave, waiver wire, why don't we clear up some of those injuries with some waivers?
All right. Well, Gardner Minshew is going to be the top one for the Kansas City Chiefs. He has good weapons all around him, so you could put up some nice fantasy numbers in the next couple weeks here. They're out of the playoffs already anyways, but still, for fantasy playoffs, you're looking for people to put up points for you. Minshew could. He's filled in. He's filled in pretty well. So he's definitely the top guy this week. Michael Carter, he actually filled in pretty well for Bam Knight after he went out. For the Watson injury, we got Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed actually looked pretty good too, even when Watson was in there. And Golden too. I'll throw Golden in there too. Golden actually had some big catches in the game last week, and he had some nice catches. So he actually showed signs of life this last game too for fantasy purposes. Ja'Cory, Krosky, Moret, with Rodriguez out. Rodriguez still might not play this week too. That's one of the injuries we forgot to mention, but he went off actually with Rodriguez though, and he got a lot of carries actually. So he had a touchdown this past week as well. So Audric Estimine for the Saints if Neil is out again. Jawar Jordan for the Texans for the Marks injury. Jaleel McLaughlin for the Harvey injury. Plus Harvey actually fumbled at the beginning of that game too. So just keep an eye on that too, because they did bench him for a series after he fumbled. So not only is he injured, but he fumbled too. So they keep an eye on that. Colson Loveland looked good this past week. Another couple catches. Komet, though, continues to take targets away from him, though. So, but Schultz, actually, Dalton Schultz had a huge game. I had him in a couple of my leagues. Yeah, helped me win a couple leagues this last week. So that was pretty awesome. Colby Parkinson, 2 TDs this past week as well, and quite a few targets. And then JJ McCarthy, another 3-touchdown week. A couple weeks in a row, he's throwing together some nice games now. So I think he almost could be trusted this week if you do need a quarterback. So you can take a look at him. And then Bryce Young, they're playing Tampa Bay actually this week, only 18% rostered. Tyler Shogue against the Jets. That's a good matchup for him. So you can take a look at those two guys. Running backs, like I said, maybe Amari DeMarcado, but I think Carter looked like he got most of the carries this last game after he went out. So that's the guy I'd be taking a look at.
All right, Amari DeMarcado. He's not dropping the ball, it is. Yeah, Wan'Dale Robinson should be. Oh, actually, that's my next one. Chimere DK, I'm going to throw him on there again, Dave. I think he's going to be huge. Actually, Olamide Zacchaeus from the Bears. If both Rome Odunze and Luther Burton's out, he's going to be massive this week. Even when one of them's out, he'll be big. Tight end Colby Parkinson, Dave. He had 2 touchdowns for me, and one of them was actually real. One of them was a real one. I don't know if you saw the refs give him the other one. That was a joke, but I'll take it as a fantasy player. But that was horrible. He was like a yard and a half short.
I saw that.
He reviewed it and gave it to him. Oh my God! Little kids correcting their homework. Dalton Schultz had 9 targets and a touchdown. So if he's on some waivers out there, I'd grab Schultz. He has some great matchups coming up. Dawson Knox has been huge for the Bills, Dave. I mean, we already mentioned him last week, but dude, he's gonna be massive. And obviously Matthew Golden for the Packers. If he's out there on some waivers, grab him for the Watson injury. Evan Hull for the Neal injury. Wouldn't you agree that's Evan Hull, Dave? I think it's Evan Hull on the Saints.
I'd say either one, but that's really hard to tell there. But yeah, it might be Evan Hull, or they were saying Estimine too, that he got some carries as well. So It's hard to say. Another guy I forgot too is Malik Davis, actually, for the Javonte Williams. He actually had a touchdown in like 40, 50 yards this past week too. So another guy that I forgot to add in there was Malik Davis.
Yeah, I know. And Javonte Williams was out for a good quarter, it felt like, and he came back in, thank God for me, but I was worried about him. Dare Ogumbawale from the Marks injury also, Dave. I think he's going to get more love as well. And like you said, Joe Johnson, Joe Jordan. I do think Marks is going to play, though. We'll see. Gardner Minshew is the biggest, as you mentioned already. Jalen Naylor, 2 touchdowns for the Vikes. And he's been really big.
What's happened to Jefferson, man? I feel bad for all those people with Jefferson in the playoffs and the whole year. He's got to be one of the bigger disappointments this year.
He's going to wring McCarthy's neck, man. Shit keeps up. He's like, I don't care if I'm double covered. Throw me the ball.
Exactly.
Of course, it's working. Like, whatever they're doing is working. So, sorry, you got to sometimes take the double coverage out. Dalton Schultz had 9 targets and a touchdown. I already mentioned that, actually. Isaiah Bond, sorry. He's getting a lot more targets now with the Cleveland. I think Shador likes him a little bit. Now, Cleveland sucks, but there are going to be a few matchups coming up here that benefit them. So that's the waivers, and I agree with a lot of yours. Sleepers, non-targets trending up. So I think Jawar Jordan should be massive this week if Marks sits, but they're playing the Raiders. So here's the thing. I think Marks is going to kind of split time anyway, and I think Jawar Jordan is still going to just get a ton of time from the Raiders and smoke the Raiders, right? That's a great matchup. Wan'Dale Robinson should be big against the Vikings this week. Gardner Minshew, great matchup against Tennessee. I think this is one of those, instead of quitting, that I feel like the Chiefs are going to kind of be like, win one more big one, easy, blow them out, show them who they're at, and then they'll suck. But right now, I think Gardner Minshew is a good streamer this week.
Well, I think they'll have a chip on their shoulder for sure. Yeah, they don't like that they didn't make the playoffs, so I think they're gonna have a little chip on their shoulder the next couple of games. I think, for sure.
At least this one, I think so too. Darnell Mooney at Arizona, what a great matchup that is. Turn anybody against Arizona
all year though. He has all these great matches, but he never does anything. Then, which is just
he got a touchdown a week and a half ago. I know that he got one touchdown. But here's the thing: is what's his name still going to be out? You know, it's Drake London. So I don't know. That's a big question. And Dalton Schultz, as I mentioned, against the Raiders. Hell yeah, right? Jameson Williams against the Steelers is fine. Isaiah Bond doing big things in Cleveland against the Buffalo Bills. Now the Bills have a good run defense, but their pass defense is weak. That was more of a choke on the Patriots side for being too conservative the whole second half. Wide receiver Jalen Naylor against the Giants is another great one too. Juwan Jennings should be big against the Colts this week, Dave. Especially with Pearsall. He's kind of been hurt too. He hurt his knee and he's questionable this week. I don't know if I put Pearsall on there or not. I can't remember.
He had a nice game this past week, but if he is healthy, I definitely would plug him in there. But yeah, it's hard to tell. He's injury prone and he's on and off with injury, so who knows with him.
Yeah, he was one of my guys trending up. Baker Mayfield should be solid this week. I mean, after 10 days to think about the way they choked that loss away, I like him against the Panthers, and Jalen Coker against the Bucks. Coker's been pretty good. He got a touchdown this week. I liked his touchdown. It was pretty hot. Tua, they're playing the Bengals, so he's got a good matchup this week. The Steelers matchup is freaking awful for him, but I think Tua's going to have a big day. Well, Rodgers cried for a flag, and they threw it after the fact after he cried. Looks like that still works.
Surprise.
Some of that Packer love still runs through those officials' bloodlines. Now we got to ask Dave who you have for your sleepers in Stars Trading.
All right. A lot of the same ones that you had. I like the Packers. I like Golden and I like Wicks this week against the Bears. I think with Watson out, they're going to get more targets and more looks. So I like both of those guys to step up this week. And Jaden Reed. I actually like Jaden Reed better than Wicks. Wicks dropped a big ball last week that he should have had. So I'm going to say Jaden Reed and Golden for
I agree.
Packers. I like that matchups. I like that matchup there. I do like Caleb Williams actually this week, against the Packers with Micah out. Our pass rush thing is going to suffer a little bit. I think Caleb could have a good game. He looked more efficient this past week as well with completions too. So I know he usually had the worst completion percentage in the league, but he looked better, actually a lot better with throwing the ball this past week. So I like him as a sleeper this week too, even against the good Packers D, even without Micah, but definitely without Micah, I like him this week.
There's a stat on Caleb. He's only thrown 12 interceptions in like 1,000 attempts. It's the lowest out of any rookie in like ever. And like you got to really it's such an underrated part of his ball. And it's negative 2 points usually in leagues for interceptions. That's one really good thing about Caleb.
Yeah. Well, Jordan Love too. Jordan Love doesn't throw many picks either.
No, he doesn't. Well, that's clear. But Williams is more that borderline guy. Love's definitely a starter.
Yeah. So and then I like some of the guys you said too. I like this Coker. I like Hubbard actually this week against the Panthers too. Hubbard struggled a little bit this past week, but I like him and Coker. I agree with you on the Coker pick. And I think Chris Godwin, he's been kind of non-existent since he came back. I think he could have a big week this week. And Julian McMillan too. He's actually back, so he's actually healthy now. He's been out almost all year, so keep an eye on him. He could be a nice deep sleeper actually in that game as well. I like Mayfield as well too in that game. I do like the Browns. I like Isaiah Bond. I like Shadir Sanders too. Like you said, the Bills' pass defense is just horrendous. They usually go 20, 30 points a game. So it's just their defense is not good. Their secondary is not good. But yeah, I don't like Junkins though this week against the Bills. So we'll get into that in a minute. But I like Ray Davis actually then too against the Browns. I think they could get up and they might have to run the ball a little bit too. So Ray Davis could be a deep sleeper. He actually looked pretty good too last week when the limited carries. I like Hampton this week against the Cowboys. Their rush D is one of the worst in the league. So I think I like Hampton or Vidal, whoever gets the most carries. I think Hampton's slowly working his way back, but they've been kind of splitting that backfield though, so it's kind of hard to tell there. But I do like the running backs this week against that poor Cowboys defense. I like Tyler Sogg against the Jets. I think he could have a good week. He's been playing well this year. The last 3-4 games, he's actually played well. I like the Naylor pick. I know what's going on with Jefferson, but yeah, Naylor's actually been looking better and better. McCarthy's looking his way more and more. So I like that matchup. I like Wendell Robinson too, actually, this week. I like Jackson Dart. I think that Dart actually looked good last week, coming back from injury after he was injured for a couple weeks there with a concussion. So I like him this week. I like Minshew. I think Minshew has a good matchup against the Titans, like you said, as well. I like Tua too against that poor Bengals D. Their pass D and secondary is horrible as well. They have one of the worst defenses in the league. So definitely like him as well. And then I like the Falcons this week. I like Cousins against the Cardinals D. Cardinals D is just horrendous. They got one of the linebackers got hurt this week too as well, Cody Simon, the rookie. So I think their defense definitely has struggled the last couple of weeks. They've been just walloped by some of the teams this past week. But then I like Brissett though at the same time for fantasy purposes because they're going to be coming from behind. So and the Falcons defense hasn't been playing well either. So that'd be a juicy fantasy matchup actually. So definitely like those guys. Troy Flanken, I like him. I think he could have a good week against the Jaguars. Even though the Jaguars have a tough D, they might be double teaming Sutton. So I like Franklin this week. And I do like the Texans this week. I like Higgins and Noel against the poor Raiders D as well. And the running backs I like there too. I like Jordan too, or Marks, whoever's starting for them.
Dave always has a lot to like, Dave. So what about Bus?
All right. Well, I don't like Lamar this week against the Patriots. I think the Patriots are coming off a loss. They're going to have something to play for now. They don't want to lose because they're only one game ahead of the Bills now. Lamar's actually been struggling this year. I think he struggles against the Patriots. I think the Patriots have a good D. I don't like that matchup. I don't like the matchup for Phillip Rivers. Old man Rivers, he looked pretty decent. He was talking a lot of trash too for a 44.
He looked all right. He threw a touchdown, man.
Yeah, he looked all right. But I think he'll struggle against the 49ers. Even though the 49ers are banged up on defense, they still have a nice young defense that's playing well. So I don't like that matchup for them. I don't like Aaron Rodgers against the Lions. You can see even he's struggling even against the Dolphins tonight. So I don't like that matchup for them. I think the Lions have a better D than most people think, but against the Steelers offense has struggled this year. So I don't like that matchup. I don't like the Jaguars. I don't like Trevor Lawrence. I'm a little sour about Trevor Lawrence anyways, because I lost in 2 leagues because of that idiot. He had his career game of 6 touchdowns this week, and I lost in my league and one of my other dynasty leagues because of Trevor Lawrence. He has his best game of his entire life.
I wasn't playing you, was I? Was I playing you by chance?
No, I was playing Brad. I beat Brad. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence. No, I'm not a Trevor Lawrence fan now. I'm a little sour now after losing because of him in a couple leagues. So definitely downgrading him against the Broncos D. So I don't like that matchup. And then the other one, I don't like Cowboys. I don't like Javonte Williams or the run game against the Chargers. The Chargers have a good run D, so I don't like that matchup. And then I do not like the Commanders, any of the Commanders against the Eagles this week as well.
All right. Well, I don't like a few of those as well. George Pickens, I don't like against the Chargers. So we'll just go right back to that. I understand your Javonte Williams too, but time against the Broncos because ETN, the Broncos D is just that good. Trevor Lawrence against the Broncos too. I'm sorry, I got to bench Trevor Lawrence, man. I agree. Bo Nix against the Jaguars isn't that great either, though. I don't like either of them. I might bet the under in that game. Brock Bowers at the Texans isn't amazing either. Ooh, DK just got a touchdown from Aaron Rodgers. Man, Rodgers had a great game. Jesus, a lot of touchdowns. Now they're kind of coming alive against the horrible Dolphins.
Yeah, they should.
I know. It's like every time the weather is super cold, it's not good for Tua, I guess. I always fall for that shit. Sam Darnold against the Rams is bad. I don't like Sam Darnold in big matchups. I like him beating up on small teams, children of the poor. I do not like Sam Darnold in this matchup. Drake May at Baltimore is kind of dangerous, so I don't like that either. It's funny. I think Caleb and Jordan Love are both going to have pretty solid games. I wouldn't say that any of them is going to be a bust this week. I kind of wrote Jordan.
I was looking at that one too. I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, I was going to put Love and Caleb maybe, but no, I think they'll be all right. So that's what I have for bust, Dave. How about our nasty sleeper? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm actually going with the hot hand from this last week. Actually, I'm going with CJ Stroud against the poor Raiders defense. I like him, actually. A lot of people have forgotten about him this year. He's kind of struggled this year a little bit as well, but he had a breakout game last week, and I look for him to have another one this week against the Raiders. I like him this week against the poor Raiders D.
That's a great one because he isn't like been a starter unless you're looking at the past like 2 weeks. So that's a great one. I'm going to go with Chris Olave against the Jets. The Jets gave away all their secondary. They're shot. They're done. They're toast. They just fired Steve Wilkes. This Jets defense is just absolute horseshit, and they have no reason to try. Chris Olave, believe it or not, the Saints are still trying to win at home. I think Olave has a decent game here, and I'm taking Olave for my nasty sleeper. Anything we miss?
No, I like it. Yeah, I like Olave.
All right. My friends, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you have any questions for us, feel free to tweet us at the Oddsbreakers. Email us at info@theoddsbreakers.com. Have a great rest of your week and go get some winners.